restriction on that.
There.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Cool. Awesome.
Hey.
That's my name. Thanks, Eva.
Over here, you want to sit here? Let's
So
go.
just here we can get started.
Sorry, I was late, everybody.
Okay, you better get going.
Rock and roll.
We only have 45 minutes.
That's right.
Somebody call the meeting to order. On the agenda, we have the discussion of county commission school board meeting, and I'm really sorry I had to miss that. Does somebody want to?
I will.
Okay.
I think that it was a good meeting. They wanted us to share our vision, and Chris and I had met and discussed it prior to, and I went over what kind of projects we had coming up in the 3 to 5 years and what we're looking at beyond that. So that they just wanted to know some plans. It was a little, it was really pretty, very much, discussing it, very open. They have, of course, many projects as well. There's very little funding possibilities as far as borrowing power at this time, so we're all facing the same kind of process. And so we didn't ask, we told them, of course, about DIPLOMA, we told them about the 2 schools we were through, we told them about what schools we can see at beyond 5 years, which would be Mount Pleasant Elementary, perhaps Holyoke, those, and then a high school at some point in the next year. So we didn't bat an eye, they didn't either, but they also were pretty clear that they have a lot of things on their plate and justices. I thought it was a good meeting in that just the fact that we had it, and it was very personable, and decided to meet monthly from here on. And also they were very clear that we're probably going to have a tax increase. And they showed that they discussed different taxing ways in which we might, that they are looking at new sources of revenue, all of which are maybe not easy to do, but that if there is such a thing as a property tax, they would have hopefully join with them in support of this and making the community understand the need for it. And my personal response to that was absolutely, right, there's a commissioner down there. And do you have anything to add as a commissioner here?
It's just important to realize that on the commission side, we've got a lot of huge projects that are hitting us. And our funding sources, there are no, we've exhausted those. We're just kind of, we've got to probably, we're talking the tax increase, which is bad because we don't know even how much that it's going to be, but I don't know if we would even be able to absorb. I'm afraid what would happen if we did come out with a figure, because there's no way we can do everything that's on the table. And what is paramount to what is going on with the schools is the other issues like that we have with our landfill, huge dollars involved in there. And we've got things going on down at the square, we've got issues with the courthouse. There's just a lot of stuff that is hitting us right now, so I'm not sure. I have confidence in our budget committee. I leave those kind of decisions to them, and I will support going from there because I have respect for their knowledge on that committee, and they're the ones that are going to guide us as well as good. So.
How did you feel about the meeting?
Oh, I
liked the first step.
Yes, I thought the meeting was great.
As far as, I think this committee is more interested in as far as the diploma and what the discussion was about that.
Yeah, I would like to touch on that. So specifically for this committee, and this board, rather, I think it would be important for whatever plan that we come up with this year, per Private Act, all financial requests regarding capital items will actually be put forth to the Financial Management Board. So whatever we plan and structure over time we come up with for purchasing or leasing, depending on what we do, and I think we are looking at a purchasing option, is that capital request could go through the Financial Management Board if it came down to a capital financial management board, and I can do that on here, you know, so I'll make sure that happens, but, to the meeting, yes, there are a lot of needs, probably about 120 million worth of needs within the next 4 years based on what the school board and commission have kind of proposed. So, with that, the budget committee and the financial management board, I would like to basically see how we can fund these needs over time rather than all at once, drop a hammer and make things happen. But, you know, in those different revenues that Ms. Kinzer was referring to, a couple of those take time, and then something such as a property tax increase can happen this budget year. It just depends on how the commission decides to fund these things. And the mayor and I and our bond advisor and our bond council will get together and see how we can work. But sorry. Yeah, making sure if we are requesting funds from the county through the 189 fund, that gets, I'll make sure that gets financial.
So my thoughts were in general fund.
Right, and if we do that, you know, if there's no need for it to go to financial.
Because capital funds, it would not be reoccurring, right?
No, you would not have reoccurring revenue in that fund other than property tax, which it pays for a ton of county projects, and also usually around 1.5 million in school buses.
We're gonna have a 2.5 million, we're gonna have to add to the budget just to staff the two new schools.
That would pretty.
That includes, so we may want to consider doing it by capital request initially, and then have the maintenance of it come in through the GP. This particular budget year is gonna be tough. I mean, they're all tough.
Yeah.
But opening two schools, 2.5 million is what we're estimating that to be for staff and everything.
That includes transferring staff from the other schools,
Yeah.
because we're not,
Yes, it does.
I mean, we're not opening.
So what it is staff that can't be transferred from the other schools, like a librarian, art teacher,
Right.
music teacher, those things like that. Not only that, it's also all the utilities. We're also adding on to our custodial contracts because it's more square footage
Right.
that now has to be cleaned. So all in all, it's between 2.5 and 2.7 million dollars just to open about three, both schools. Yeah.
So we have utility.
So,
Okay, why don't we let you do, rather than review the proposed funding
Yeah.
plan again?
So one of the things, I think that's going to reach out to me, if you guys remember going back to the school board's conference in November, you may talk to Lean Frog, is a company that we work with on lean operations, and they've done some of our work. They've created a new company called Lean Stream. And what Lean Stream is if people in the community purchase Wi-Fi hotspots, the school district either gets free Wi-Fi hotspots to give out to kids or funding. And so, like for example, they've reached out to me and they've given me some statistics on things that they've done. Let me go to Trey's email. He sent me a couple draft proposals. He sent me a couple things. He's also sent me some stats on some other counties inside and outside the state that are doing it that are smaller than us that are generating some good recurring revenue that's coming in. And so my question for the committee was, is this something that it sounds like you'd want me to sit down and have a talk with him and bring some data back to the meeting? Or that doesn't sound like anything our community might be interested in? Let's
Is there
keep
a
on looking.
cost to
No.
starting this up?
No, the cost
to doing it?
is borne strictly by the people that purchase the Wi-Fi option, and so there's no cost associated to the school district. So it's according to the information he's given me, it's a revenue generator for the school system, where no cost is borne by the school system.
Okay,
We
explain,
promote it.
why would I purchase their hotspot? Just,
You can have Wi-Fi on the go, and it's not necessarily at your house.
Hey, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Back in the day, when we got the same proposal, it was because it was unlimited.
Yes,
And so you can't, as a regular consumer, you can't just go and say, hey, I'm gonna pay this monthly fee and get unlimited internet. So one of the options they had that you could purchase, depending on what it was, is that you could pretty much replace, you could have an unlimited hotspot, which is not an option for you, if I'm not mistaken, as a normal consumer. Like you can't go to Verizon and say, if you have a hotspot, they always throttled or something, don't hold me to it, because I haven't seen the newest proposal, but that was one of the benefits, is that you could possibly replace, if somebody didn't use the internet that much, get rid of whatever their other provider was and just use that hotspot. But also know you're gonna support school. So that was one of the selling points, is that the speed was better, and also you were supporting schools. That was one of the reasons why to go with that.
And not to get into the weeds on this, but, so if you didn't have a TV internet bundle, right?
That's
You
right.
just had internet,
Yeah.
you would really replace your internet with that hotspot, because now I'm mobile with it.
That was yeah, you take it with you, right, yeah. So you go camping, you go anywhere, it's in your car, your kids are in the car, grandkids are in the car, they can get on the internet in the car. So that was the option, that's the benefit.
So this was an email that he sent me at the end of January. He said, one of the things we can talk about doing is what's called the Wi-Fi and the Go program for Murray to launch. You would have a link stream site, the district would make about $10 per line per month on the Wi-Fi and the Go devices. This revenue stream can help fund additional diploma devices. A district much smaller than yours is over the 200 device limit, which is almost $30,000 annually that they brought in.
So we sell these to,
Well, no, the company,
They set up a site, right?
they set up a site, the company sells to the community. As the community invests, we get the revenue. So we don't sell anything. We just promote it.
So it's a win-win for us.
It's a
Is it-
win-win.
What if we don't get the minimum number? You said 200, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. From what I understand, it doesn't matter. But those are details that I'm gonna have to get from Charles Mainstream. Bless you. Just wasn't sure if this committee was something that you thought you'd want me to bring back. So if you want to, I can meet with Trey and bring that information back to the committee if you want to.
Yeah, I'd like to see.
Which guy? Yes, ma'am.
I did some research a little bit. My career was with Bell South and AT&T. I'm familiar with the broadband capability sets in our county. AT&T has just now recently come out with Wi-Fi, better Wi-Fi for the rural areas. But it comes at a cost too. $70 a month is the lowest plan parent can get, that's for them. With Verizon, it's $50, less gigs. It's 10 gigs on the new plan that AT&T has just come out, and I should have brought the letter, because all the people that could qualify for this, they got the letter in the mail and saying that made the broadband more capable and people can get it, but like I said, when I called, that's gonna be the deterrent right there as far as going to another supplier, because, I mean, $70 for the lowest plan is nowhere near unlimited. There's no telling what other unlimited will do. And, I know that on that Verizon, that's a 5G plan, and it's $50 a month. So,
Well, thank
I got
you.
information.
Thank you. If you'll look into it, bring it back to us.
I forwarded those two emails on to everybody, so you all have those emails that you sent me. But I'll follow up with them and see what they have, and then I'll bring it back to the committee.
And like Jacksonville convenience with some parents that would do, like we said, it'd be one hotspot where you don't have to, if you're paying data at your home, and you get in your car, and you're paying some other package, and you're paying for your phone, so you just have it one location.
Yeah.
And like I said, I don't remember the details, but the whole benefit was you got to download, it wasn't just 10, it was more, you had unlimited. Now, they might have throttled you from 4 to 3, but it wasn't like you just got shut off or you had to pay more money. And again, I haven't read it yet, but that was one of the big deals, is you could just have it all the time.
So do they do all the advertising to sell it and all that? We don't have to do any of that stuff?
Yeah, they even create the website and everything. We just promote it.
what do we get that shows us how they calculate how much we deserve?
That's what I'm looking at right now. I'm looking at the most recent proposal you sent me.
Now, when is the capital,
Well, I'm waiting for my budget committee chairman to give me the thumbs up on our budget calendar. But it's not, it's probably. I'll pull that up.
that's okay,
This is
I'm not going to say
tentative,
it's right.
it's waiting for the,
I think we are going to, in the board, and maybe next month, that we will take up the capital next month, if we
At the budget, yes, next month. Yeah.
Doug, you had also said that you were gonna, look at, the school budget, general fund this year and see if there was, where we could save in the general fund to help, like paper, that type of thing, where we could save.
What make the prices offset.
Right.
Honestly, since I'm in this user, I'm not an educator. I try to be an informant, I guess, and inform you of all the information you need. But as far as digging extremely deep into people's budgets, when reviewing, like with Mount Pleasant saying, hey, you can cut a little here, you can cut a little there. I'm not going to be on the ground floor of that one. I'm going to let the superintendent, get together with everybody and they have and pull in those budgets. And what I will do is, if you ask me, Doug, what was spent out of this line item last year, I can pull all of this year. I can pull all the data and say, this is what we spent, this is what's pretty much restricted by PDP that we get, and these are other items that, are toss-ups. Do you want to do this software? Do you want to do this, for the students? And give the school board the information to make budgetary decisions that they need to make, because I'm just a numbers guy. So, I want to give everybody the numbers.
I'm a numbers guy.
Give everybody the numbers, give everybody the information they need to make their decisions.
So what we're doing right now is we're currently looking at where we are in our spending, and we're debating at this point, are there any unfunded keys requests that we can bring back to the board in March to prepare for late spring and summer? Like some people had said, we'd like to run a kindergarten boot camp. So we're currently looking, do we have any areas where we can go ahead and fund those? So we're currently in the process of doing that right now. We're looking at that.
So when we wrap up budget, we're going to complete a budget to the meeting, to start reviewing line items for the departments. We'll have all the information on hand as far as where we're at this year, and we can review that information.
There's not going to be like $600,000 savings, nothing like that.
Well, I just want to know where diploma is the priority. That's what I want. Where are we?
Because I think
Is
we are
it a
still-
kindergarten boot camp, or is it something else, or is it?
I think that we are still looking at alternative resources, financial resources. That's still, and he's done some looking into, not ready to report that, but we said from the get-go that we really need to find income from somewhere else and not within that tight budget that we have. So I think it's a priority to all of us, but financially, not so sure. I don't know at this point. Because they're just in the weeds right now.
I think that the school board making a decision and making that a priority over something else can be decided when the budget is reviewed. Well, let's cut this and this to make the diploma, or maybe we can do without this to get, our diploma started. And that'll be based on, the discussions Dr. Marzak has with principals and the budget team has with principals to say what are the priorities from the principals as well. And just submit that as all one document, go over it, and let the school board make decisions.
Because in the short term, looking at the leases that roll out in May, we do have some growth money coming in. I'm waiting to hear from Mary and Dursky and what that final number is going to be based on increased enrollment. So don't have that figure about what that could be yet. I know Doug is still doing some research on where we are sitting with fund balance and what's possible and what isn't possible. So we have some other areas that we're looking at. We just don't have complete enough information as of today to make that determination.
And now that, so we've had our audit exit interviews, we're not allowed to release details of the audit yet, but what the audit was able to give us is a starting point for our fund balance. So after we enter our audit adjustments, which will be this month, we'll have a good clean start on where our fund balance was as of July 1, 2018, and where it is now as of the day that we have completed our audit adjustments. And so we will
And there may be a hybrid. We've got enough to do a little bit. Let's look for a little bit here as well. So that's a possibility too.
So when will we know what our fund balance was July 1st, 2018?
We'll know that, I'll know that within the next couple of weeks, because I'm not allowed to,
Right.
we're not allowed to release that.
I'm not asking you to release it, I'm just saying, do we
A
have a
figure.
fairly good idea of what it is
We do.
and where
Yeah.
we're going?
We will, after all adjustments, yes. I'll have a beginning balance, and that will be reported with February's financials, because we're putting audit adjustments in February. So,
Another thing the board will look at will be maintenance. If you remember, the commission's been very generous of giving us funds to get our buildings up to par, but it's gonna probably mean a $4 million addition for GP to just maintain. So that's another hit for maintenance, if we put maintenance into GP. Ongoing.
Oh, yeah. Well, and I think that's where we have to get to.
Yeah.
But in the short term, what do we need to do so that these devices don't have to be sent back to the admin and middle or beginning of May?
Hopefully, coming out.
Okay, and then our next thing is how we keep them the following year, and how we pay for them, or how we, because again, if we're going to give these back, and in 2019, in May of
2020.
2020,
Yeah.
we have no devices whatsoever,
Agreed.
then I don't see spending the $700,000 to keep them for 1 more year.
Yep.
Is where I am. We need a plan that we can go, forward with this. And that's why I was looking at the general fund, because that would, every year we would have that same money. Now,
Put it back in.
yes, and if we do a line item for technology, whatever, then we know that we have that money, and that's reoccurring every single year, and then we do it once, we bite the bullet 1 year, and then we're good for the rest of the year, for the, all of it. That's what I would like to see happen. Now, I know that it's, it depends on funds for it, but that's what I would like to see come out, a plan to do that out of this.
if we have a good general operating budget that comes through and everybody approves it, we find that we have fund balance that we can allocate towards this project, we can put it in the budget. So we can have it budgeted for the next year, and honestly see where that would put our fund balance after that year. If we take it out of our budget and it is going to hit fund balance, we still haven't found funding source. We found where we can get the money from, but it's not paying for itself, So, we'll basically take a hit and then, try to earn more time to think of a recurring funding source. Something the mayor stated in our last meeting, and I think it is a valuable option, is that within the next 2 years, there can be 2 tax proposals put forth for specifically schools, or specifically revenue generating for schools with the sales tax or tax. So those are things that we can bite the bullet and maybe see some movement on in year 2 when those actually have an opportunity to be looked at and potentially passed. I'm not going to speak for the commission because I don't know what y'all will decide on that. But, that is an idea along with creating a plan. So factored into that 120 million, and I've got operating costs for Battle Creek, and I've got operating costs for the county's general fund, because I would like to have a fully balanced budget and have all operations adequately funded. We can space that time out, and we can add whatever long-term diploma process, the full cost of it, into that plan, and then it will be fully funded for that period of time while we're waiting on sales tax or real tax or potentially a property tax.
So basically, we're looking at going ahead with the proposal for next August, starting with the 2-to-1.
And that's what I've got to pull up here. I've got to pull up the diploma plan from the last meeting.
Dr. Marzak, not to interrupt you, and I know I bring this up every time, It's okay.
We have to, that's what I was gonna say, we have to look and see where the, devices are, the title,
The protected devices.
Yes.
But also, somebody, we cut the position that ran this.
right,
And the other thing I'm bringing up, which we got to think about teachers is, Central High School, which Chris just helped me remember because time flies, that we got them devices. They're getting ready to be on their third year. And we got other schools that they're running on year 5, going to be in 6, where I didn't have money to replace their devices because we thought we'd be farther along. So there's some schools that we've just been patching desktops because we don't know where we're going. But those are just some things to keep in mind. I'm not trying to, it just is what it is. There's some schools that really need some help that we don't have the funding for. And so even if we get student devices, the teachers still, we got to make sure we factor in, whether it's a push-pull, whatever it is, that we get some of these devices swapped out. Like I said, Central's going to be in year 3 with their devices. And that's actually good shape. Some other schools are going into year 5 and 6 with their,
now are those desktops?
those are desktops.
Okay, we were looking at not doing, according to that plan that we had, there were no desktops involved. It was all the Lenovo, the teachers' Lenovo's and
Yeah.
the Chromebooks. So, but we need to know, I know some of the Chromebooks were purchased by
Title. Title I, yeah, and we're working on it, and also not to interrupt and get in the weeds, but Title's actually, I approached Scott Gaines. We have title schools that have smart boards and technology that they're surplusing that we need at the other schools, and we're trying to come up with a legal process so we don't get an audit finding, where we can get fair market value, buy those, and install those at our schools now, but we're in the infancy stages, and obviously all that's got to be, but Scott just said, tell me the schools, we're actually doing the inventory, and coming to him and saying, here's what it is, what do we got to do?
That
But,
would roll over those Chromebooks, some of those Chromebooks
Yeah.
that are in the library.
Okay.
So
So
that-
that would give us more Chromebooks that we have to work with.
right, instead of them just being done and gone, we can actually put that, you'd have to pay for them, but at a fair market value, which is going to be affordable, so.
So if we went forward with this, would you need an additional person for deployment? Is that what you kick that off?
If that goes, somebody's got to run this every day. It's a full-time, in and out, new kids. I mean, it's,
We need to factor that into the funding as well, because computers sitting in closets.
it doesn't, we want them out, and with their zero touch now, they go right out, they're ready when they come to us. They're supposed to be, nobody, they go out, that helps, but there's still a lot going on.
And going back to money sources, and I'm not with the line, but I was talking to Jackson, and I think, you said it has to start somewhere. It goes back to the principals and what is your expectation of the school? Because I was thinking about copies and our copy leases, and I was asking Tommy about, everybody has their own, doing their own thing. We're all on different islands, and, I reached out to Drinkline. They're paperless for some of their social studies classes. So our paper copy and our copy leases, a lot of money is being spent on those. When a lot of schools don't really need a lot of copies, if,
We were practically paperless.
they were
for a
paper,
while.
so it's, I think, I don't know if we want to talk to principals, come in to like, what is our vision? Because we can sit here and plan all day long, but if the leader of that school don't go back and implement this and push for devices, and I know you can't use devices for everything, but at the same time, you have some schools doing this, some schools doing that, so we need to know, because I was asking about the leases, everybody has a different lease, and maybe they're
And that's-
friend, and that's a lot of money.
I sent a proposal to
My
Doug.
bookkeeper is constantly on me because, I make my social studies teachers, y'all gotta reach out to Mount Pleasant to see what they're doing because they don't have the resources yet. But if a fifth grade social studies teacher is going paperless, reach out to them to see what's going on and how they're doing it. Because we're just running too many copies. So,
And like you said, the prices are all over. Like, I told some
ridiculous.
people and looked, and we actually, a company in Spring Hill, which Dr. Marzak got with him first, we met with him, which obviously they're gonna have to do a request for proposal, but he actually, not only do they do printers and copiers, but they also provide the technical staff to fix the printer if you have a problem. And so you get your own number and everything. Now, I just forwarded on because they're gonna have to, obviously, I said, I can't just tell you, yeah, and every school goes to this. We have to, but I agree with her. We could probably save some money there.
I've saved a ton of money in my own department just by objectively looking at it and looking at our prints. There have been previously, we had just stuck with the same maintenance agreement provider for year after year after year, and nobody looked at it. Well, it came a point in time in which our copier was dying, and I said, bring them all in. I want to see everybody. I want to see who wants the county's business. We're a desirable client.
Oh, yeah.
People should be falling over themselves to do business with Murray County Public School, Murray County government. We pay our bills. We have an excellent credit rating. So there's no point in which we shouldn't get a deal, with anybody. But with that said, I was able to save $5,000 on my copier in comparison to the previous purchase price from the same vendor, and 0.7 of a cent of every black and white copy, and 3 cents for every color copy on my maintenance agreement. It ended up, my department's very small. I only had like 10 or 11 people total, and I probably saved, I would say, $6,500 that year.
Don't mention a building with Daisy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Not to
right.
mention that's been a DEP money on the parking.
So that's an opportunity.
And they do because it's so convenient for, we
Yeah.
have these supplement materials and we have these programs, but it's so convenient for them to go and say, just to make copies. And we're making too many copies.
So-
Getting with the, sorry.
No,
just,
it's okay. Go ahead.
Also, the printers that sit at people's desks
Mhm.
are so much more expensive on a cost per print basis rather than a biz hub. And the second thing on that, we have to spend DEP money specifically allocated for paper. Is that correct? Or just straight up paper?
We don't have to, it's a funding plan, not a spending plan.
Okay,
But that's the
so-
money we get for it.
They say this is for paper.
It could be, yeah. This is what the state provides you to pay for paper. Yeah,
Okay.
but you don't have to
Do
spend
something
it.
else.
You don't have to spend it.
Okay, I'll double check.
Yeah.
Just because. I'm
Can you spend it on something else though?
Yeah.
Okay, because you said you don't have to spend it, but can you spend it
No,
on
that's what the
something
state,
else?
yeah, that's what the
I
state
think we've been
supplies
talking
you
about
for that.
going
You
online
don't have to spend
registration
it for that.
forever. We hadn't done, we hadn't, some schools may do it. I don't know if some high schools do it or whatever, but, online registration, there's a lot of things that we can do to save money. We don't have to print.
But the key thing to consider, being devil's advocate, I can't believe I'm saying this, is it's in the interim, what are you doing to provide?
Yeah.
So like, for example, one of the things teachers said last year was, well, I don't have devices yet to do drink
Yeah.
marks. So what are you gonna do for me in the interim? What am I gonna use? So if we can move down this route, and then, once we are, then we start to pull those resources away, I think we're gonna hear less. But if we were just to pull copiers,
Yeah. And I'm not
No
saying
devices.
full, but if we're going to
That'd
a
be wrong.
2-to-1 next year and, again, we're willing to give up some of our devices to those schools, but are they going to use them? If they're not, that's the thing. So I don't know if that's a conversation maybe we need to have with principals, like, what is your vision of wanting to use devices in your school? Because
Well-
again, some of these schools don't have them because they weren't pushed to even really use them.
and then comes the whole conversation of mandation. Do we want to mandate you have to use devices? Kind of like textbooks, you have to use them. We guarantee you have to use them. Then you go to the extreme.
Yeah.
Hey, it's a whole push and push on you. You're in the whitewater. You're exactly right.
So regardless of whether, that plays out correctly, the use of devices happens correctly, I think it would be smart to look at maintenance agreements and copy agreements throughout the school system. I'm doing the same thing on the county side. And if we can go in together, maybe on a deal, we could probably save a lot more. We could even bid it out and have them fight over it and, see what we could get from that process. So I'll talk with our purchasing agent, Patty, and see what we can do to get those costs down, because at the county, you've got someone using P, someone using RJ Young, somebody else using BBE. There's no congruency. Nobody's using the same vendor, and I think we'd have a lot more purchasing power if we were united. So, anyways.
Please make part of the process is purchasing out or buying out current contracts. Because that's one of the things is contracts begin to end all over the place
Well-
based on when they first started.
And what I did, I had RJ Young, I'll just tell you what happened. I said, I don't want to do it. And they said, okay, just send us a letter.
All mine.
And I was out.
They expect you to renew.
I didn't have to pay a cent to them. But some agreements might not be that. You're not going to get that.
So we have to also look at funding a position in starting in August, or starting
June, July.
Yeah, July
I
1st.
know we don't get funded till after, but
Yeah.
There we go.
Don't say that.
And then
I got no
also,
hair, man.
Me instead of you.
and also the cards.
Yes,
We have
if
to-
we're gonna do the 2-to-1, we have to do charging cards. Yeah.
So, I guess my question is, how do we decide what we're gonna do? Because we're getting down to the point now where we need to have a plan of what we're gonna do for next year. If we're going to take that money out of fund balance to pay for the rest of the contract for the devices. And then that will get us through till May the next year, correct? And then we will be out of those contracts, we will be done with our
Yeah,
contracts.
then we can buy straight out.
Okay, so if we can get through this next year and plan on using 2-to-1 with that, then every school in, well, what was it on there? It was 7,
It's,
is it 8 through 12?
Seven through start.
Yes.
7 and 8 on the way.
7 and 8.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 would all be 2-to-1. No. Yes, would all be
Yes.
2-to-1. And then with the Lenovo devices. And then all of the elementary schools, 5th, 6th, and elementary would be 2-to-1 with the
Chromebooks
Chromebooks
and cards.
and cards. Now, we would need cards for the other 2-to-1, right? For the high school? Or do you need cards for that?
Some people have done them that way, so Mount Pleasant Elementary School, if I'm not mistaken, the kid, when they didn't take them home, they just left them at school. They didn't have to be in a cart or whatever. I think, if I remember, they would just charge it in a room. It's just an extra cost if you don't, but, I mean,
So you don't need the card?
you don't have to have it.
How did you do your 2-to-1?
We
You have
charge
cards?
our
They have cards.
We have cards, but we have to give them up. They don't take them home.
Okay, I think, so we don't need cards for all this.
It's not fair.
But Dow has, I think, I mean, I've just seen in their rooms where they got a designated area for the kids to put down. I don't think they're cards.
That's what we do. Most of our rooms. Some don't have cards, but a lot.
Majority do not have cards.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
not-
so.
Not
so
saying it
that's-
wouldn't make it easier.
But if we're talking about every penny counts,
Yeah,
Yeah,
guess
so we
what?
don't need
Yeah.
cards.
Yeah.
I'm just,
Probably can do without.
okay.
Yeah. We can use like the library cards to
Yeah.
transport books, you know, like if we have to transport them somewhere.
So we need the position, we need 700,000. 700,000?
705, I believe.
Yeah, 700.
705052.
Did you put that proposal in your budget that you presented, Tom?
That I presented. What did I present?
Position?
No, because here, it's on the instructional side.
Yes.
It's on the instructional side, but it's gotta be, it's gonna have to go to the board and say, look, this is the position that if we do this, it's their determination, that's on the instructional side.
I was just gonna figure cost based on the step and what type of person you were thinking for.
Yeah, Dr. Woodard, we actually, at one point, had a replacement, and so if you reach out to him, or I can get him to email you, he had it all proposed up. It was just, we got the position cut, and just moved on, but it was,
So we had a step predetermined and kind of.
That's
job
correct.
description.
sure did.
Got all that.
So, I guess I'm just trying to get an idea from everyone, is that the way we're needing to do it, P1, or?
I mean, personally, for me, I see it's the only way moving forward for right now. That's really the only way, unless we want to stick in the current realm that we're in with the strictly a poll program, where some people have it, some people don't. That's the only other option.
I just think that eventually, if we can go 2-to-1 throughout this year,
Yeah.
then I think that the teachers will be ready. That will get the teachers, the faculty, and the staff ready to go 1-to-1. And they see how important it is and what a help it is. Because I know I've talked to the people that do have them, got 2 of them right here, and it made a complete difference in their schools. But, so that'll give them a whole year to get used to using them and for us to monitor their use.
Do we have
I don't know
enough
how we monitor the use.
principals.
Do we have enough that we can go 2-to-1 countywide?
Like what we currently have, everything. She's got
That's what her,
she's got the
that's what her
sheet.
sheet shows.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's on the agenda.
And again, like I said, even in my budget proposal now, I do have, if we add this, we have a problem with engineering is that if we just say right now we have 4,000 devices deployed, and we're getting ready to go to 12,000 devices deployed, that's an engineer that's gonna have to help get all these people on Wi-Fi, get everything going. But also, there's not necessarily enough work just for that. But Jennifer Morgan, who's been doing all of our student data management system stuff, they've already told her, you're not gonna be able to do it by yourself. So we were gonna try to propose a job and split the job load, put one person that did Jennifer's job and engineering, which we got a person with that unique skill set, but we gotta propose it all to the school board. Because when you start, when you start adding Vigilon cameras to every school and the front door, you gotta get in, everything's Wi-Fi, we gotta have the people to be able to support this if we're gonna install it.
You think
That's
I've
the last thing we want is understaffing with data collection.
And she's good. She works with it. She takes off. She still has to take phone calls because we don't have anybody. And it's just gotten to the point. We had 2 more schools. But anyway, that's it. That is in my proposal. But
Yeah, so as far as taking notes on, I was only taking some notes about next year. If we were to find the 700 to finish out the leases, we got 250 going back if we don't purchase them, which we still don't know what's on that term with us on what we can do once that lease is up in February of next year. So a year from today, we would have 250 going back essentially in the middle of the school year, and we would have to think about as well. Are we gonna go ahead and try to purchase ahead of that?
Well, and
You know?
see, that was in the plan, the money would have been there, because if we funded this budget, then we can hold off until, and then in February, we can, if we need to purchase in February, that money is in there to do it. That was the whole point of putting
it wasn't to make it to May, no matter what. I think the number that they had with all the lease ending dates and everything else was to get us till May.
Well, but
I think the number was all of them played out for the third year.
because I didn't realize that some of them ended in
Yeah, the first set of
February.
250 would end in.
But we did have, would you look on that? I don't have that copy. We do have an overage of the internet, don't we?
276 spare devices is what you got on there, yeah. But that would
That's a
include
whole different
Chromebooks.
conversation about
Yeah,
if we make it that far, what are we
Right,
gonna
I'm
do?
just,
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
No, I think that's something we need to plan on, because I don't want to come up in February and say, give us, okay, this school, give us your devices back. I don't want to have to do that.
yeah.
We've taken devices out of kids' hands, and it's not fun, and it's not, when they look at you and say, well, I earned that. So, no, we had, with the Lenovo devices, we had 276
Right.
Lenovo's spared. So that would give us the 250, we would be okay with that.
Essentially, yeah. I was just throwing it out there that.
No, that's good. Yeah, so that's.
Gets us into May.
Yeah, it gets us into May. So, school board, any ideas on this? Is this something that you,
I just think right now the budget process, not seeing the documents in where they are. I'm certainly would be absolutely okay with me to use the 700 something on the fund balance to keep it and buy some time. But right now, it's hard to see what it's
Yeah.
going on. It really is. And thankfully Doug he's looking and checking and all that. One thing I asked of him, and that was, let's have a realistic budget so that we don't have this back and forth, cut. Something we can live with before we can see the, we're not cutting programs, we're not cutting the positions, we're not cutting benefits, we're, all of that.
well, and I agree. I mean, but I don't, like Dr. Marzak said, is there any other solution? Does anyone see anything else that we can do that we don't give up all of our devices in?
Other than fund balance,
other than doing the fund balance and then getting a, doing it. I personally like doing the 2 to 1 because I think a lot of the pushback that we got was because everyone didn't have it. You know, I really think, I think there was a lot of jealousy. I think there was a lot of, well, they get it and we don't, and that's not fair. And I tend to agree with them. So if we can do 2 to 1 and it's even, everybody's treated the same across the board, and we can get through a year, I think with students and teachers and, because I think fear, I think it was Mr. Ford said that fear is a big part of it. That you have teachers that are like, oh, I'm not doing that. Well, they have to, it'll give them a year to get used to it, you know?
I totally agree with you. I think the 2 to 1 is a great idea. I think the figures you brought are workable. I don't know where the 1.2 will come from over and above that. It may be that we'll want to make it like the buses, a capital increase of 189 fund. That might be something because we specifically, they're looking at other funding sources, wheel tax, other funding sources that maybe could be earmarked for education. That would be something to keep us digital. I think there are lots of pieces of the puzzle that have to fall into place. And I think Dr. Marsack has reached out to some local people as well, so we'll just have to see how that plays out.
I have one. Sorry, go ahead.
I've got the 700K, and that will put 2 to 1, 7 through K, or 7 through 12, I'm sorry.
That's correct.
No, actually, it's.
2 through 12.
2
through
through 12.
12, yes.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
With the Lenovo devices that we have will be in the higher grades. And then the
Chromebook.
Chromebooks, I can never remember, the Chromebooks would be used in the lower grades. But everybody, all the way across would be 2 to 1. Everybody would have, for every 2
2
students.
through 12. 2 or 3.
2, I believe.
2.
Yeah, this shows 2, 3, 4 high schools. and
So-
7 through 12.
K and first grade will be excluded, so we'll pick this, start this in second grade.
So 2
That's
to
right.
6 is probably 7 to 12.
That's right.
I have an employee in my department that's been trained on grant writing. We are purchasing a membership to a grant subscription that basically sends grant opportunities, gives us a list to go through.
So that code.
There's federal, there's state, it's nationwide.
Yeah.
And it's on discount, so that's why we're buying it tomorrow. But we can look for something like this item, and that would be amazing. We'd be able to pull information from everybody collectively to be able to write that grant. It all sounds wonderful, right? But we don't have the list, we'll get the list, and I'll let you know if we find out.
Yeah, that, identifying them is the biggest thing. I write a lot of grants, and identifying the grant, finding the grant is the hardest part.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I know the website.
Well, there's multiple ones.
Yeah.
This one's usually $699 or $799 a year, and just tomorrow they're doing it for $100. So we're gonna jump on that train. Yeah. So I don't know why.
Is that for a year?
Yeah, I did it for a year.
That's good.
Yeah. Could use $100. I feel like.
I do, can you not ask if parents would want to supply their own child with one of the devices?
Our biggest problem is that we're still 55% for reduced lunch, 50 to 55, so a lot of our parents can't afford it.
And that's one of the,
That's the
that's
problem.
one of the things that this does, is it does it, it makes it equitable for, because like your kids, my kids, they'll have a device, but the kids sitting next to them might not. So it really doesn't make it doesn't have equality in the classroom. And we are for every child. So if we're gonna do it for one, we have to do it for everyone.
Good question.
Yeah.
But if, so I'm just kind of gonna play the devil advocate here. So you said that because of our, that only 40% of their lunches, so that could also apply to the parents even having a hotspot or Wi-Fi for internet. Excuse me, I just,
And the kids
Springfield, you have no problem. You all
we do.
have, well, I'm talking about.
No,
smart
but if we're
internet.
gonna reduce lunch too, we do have problems. Yeah, we're 36%. Yeah, we do.
Well, I'm talking about as far as the Wi-Fi, the capabilities in the internet. You've got a lot more
Options.
options
Yeah.
and systems and
Yeah.
things available to you and subdivision wise. When we would go into those new subdivisions up there, that was the first thing they did is they put these big books up there, and I know you probably don't know these terms or whatever, but you know, it can work the whole entire subdivision. We don't have that in most of our rural areas. The most probably rural area that has the most capabilities worldwide would be sitting down there, Cully up there in the central office, which is across the school. That's huge, you know. But that still is not going to help all those folks that are out there that it's simply not available unless it is a Wi-Fi, and that's me. I'm one of them. I've been an employee, I've worked, and I couldn't even get the service myself from my own company, but I was able to get it to my competitor.
Well, for the 2-to-1, they would not be taking them home. They
Oh,
would
okay.
be using them in school.
Oh, okay.
So that's not a thing where they have to take home and they have to be able to hook up to Wi-Fi. Also, there's a lot of stuff that they can download, and I know we've had some problems with kids that don't have internet at their homes.
Correct.
They can download it and use it without internet.
Oh, okay.
So they don't have to be hooked up to the internet. Aren't you proud of me that I'm
I didn't
actually-
know that you didn't have to.
You got the right
that
term.
I used it
Yeah.
at school.
Yeah, we just use them as school, that 2-to-1, we don't take them home.
Something I have is, we're talking about funding this with taxpayer dollars, whether it's a fee or a property tax, or hopefully it's grant, or, you know, maybe a parent funds it, you know, a lot of different sources here, but the majority of them are government funded. I know that from my bookkeeper's meeting and meeting with principals that we're dealing with donors choose often, and teachers will get fed up and they will ask whoever they want to get an iPad in their classroom, so on and so forth. And sometimes won't go through IT to get that properly vetted and added in. But the thing is, and this looks really, really bad, is if we're asking for more money from the taxpayers and we're asking people, well, we gotta fund these laptops, we gotta fund these things, and people are like, well, I gave laptops last week, or I gave iPads last week. It does not look good as far as gaining support or any type of revenue increase from the government level to buy these things when, you know, if they see the donors choose donating them. People that are affluent, you know, that have funds or means to getting devices into the school. So that might, it definitely looks like a decision needs to be made there. I'm not part of that decision, but I do know that, you know, if we're going to pay for all of them, people are giving them to, you know, it's definitely kind of a cross mingling there. But also, you never know what you're going to get. You could get an Apple product, Lenovo product, you know, Windows product, so be it. But that's just something to look at, because if it does come down to having to raise revenue, that, you know, there will be teachers that are like, you know, we brought in, and some of them even think, oh, these are my iPads. I asked for these from individuals. These go where I go.
That does happen.
That's true.
That does happen.
Yeah, and that's.
And are those included in what, those aren't included in any of these figures?
And there was a process, so donors choose was frowned on, but then when we cut everything, and it came down to, hey, what are we gonna do? We don't have anything, we opened it up, the teachers, we had to. So they started getting it, but the principal's supposed to know, and it's supposed to be for a project, not I just want 10 iPads, it's supposed to be vetted. And so if we got funding, I completely agree. If they say, hey, we're gonna fund your devices, don't be doing that, because
Yeah.
then we could set a standard. But right now, if there's a chance of nothing, we can, I mean, if the teacher can get 2 iPads for her classroom, we tell them do it, but you gotta follow the rules.
Yeah.
It does say in board policy though that it's the principal's decision whether that teacher gets to take it with them or not
To a new school.
to the school.
The school owns it, it's county property, it's just, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
And you know what, let me add one thing that we've talked about rural areas in Murray County that don't have internet. And actually, Dr. Marzak and I met with Glenn from Columbia Power Water Systems. And so right now, we have agreements with Charter, and Columbia Power Water could not fulfill what we needed. But they've since started working on, we want to keep the money local. So we've met with Glenn, we've met with ENA, who's our provider, and what we're going to do, the 2 new schools are going to be Columbia Power Water schools. They're going to get that opportunity with a plan to fund him to get our city schools to him, and then he's going to agree to build out to Colioca, to Mount Pleasant, so where our students, with us paying, keeping the money right here in Murray County, getting our students in that, and I mean, it's going to take a couple years, but we have a plan, and Glenn seems to think he can build out in Colioca, but he can't do it right now without us. And we're big money, but it's because we have to have it. So that's a very positive thing. I think Columbia Power Water, I mean, we're going to give them 2 schools to make sure they can handle it, but hopefully that's going to work.
Okay, is there anything else or we're past time? Thank you all.
Can you give me minutes, Sean?
Hey,
Yes,
John,
yes.
Did you see my images email? You did?
I'll do it. I really.